Hi, I'm Nat. I'm here at the teaching zoo at Moorpark College, and I want to introduce you to my friend Beaker, the Abyssinian ground hornbill. Beaker. Good bird. All right, Beaky. You play too? Good. Good dude.
Abyssinian ground hornbills are one of only two terrestrial species of hornbill, the other being the southern ground hornbill, and therefore they spend a majority of their time on the ground looking for their food. These carnivorous birds will travel as much as 7 miles a day on foot in search of their food, and while southern ground hornbills can be found in larger groups searching for food together, the Abyssinian ground hornbill is typically observed in pairs, or on occasion in groups of 3 or 4 if the juveniles are still with their parents. While they will also consume some amounts of seeds, nuts, and fruit, these birds are almost entirely carnivores, primarily preying on small reptiles, mammals, and invertebrates that they can find along the ground, and will even eat carrion if it's necessary. Their beaks and necks are strong enough that they can even break through the shells of some turtles and tortoises, and yet at the same time, they are also so long and dexterous that they can manage to eat venomous snakes and tarantulas without actually being harmed themselves. In addition to looking for food in pairs, Abyssinian ground hornbills have been observed following herds of larger ungulates and picking off any smaller animals that might scatter with the disturbance. As mentioned, these birds spend most of their time in bonded pairs, which they typically stay in for life, and are sometimes accompanied by their offspring. The courtship and bonding of these hornbills consists of 4 main parts, which are nest site building and inspection, courtship feeding, vocalizing, and beak slapping. They will inspect their surroundings together in search of a suitable nesting site, which can be in the bases of tree trunks, tucked in between rocks, or even just on the open ground if needed. And the same nesting sites can be used by a pair year after year. Courtship feeding consists of male Abyssinian ground hornbills finding prey and presenting it to females, like we often see Beaker doing with his ball. This is an important part of courtship for these birds as it demonstrates the male's ability to provide food for the female, something he will have to do the entire time that the female is sitting on her eggs. While the behavior of beak slapping is relatively straightforward, the loud call of the Abyssinian ground hornbill is projected by both the gular sac on their neck as well as the seemingly broken structure called the casque on the top of their beaks. Their low bellowing calls can be made either singularly or in a sort of a duet with their partner. Beaker here was actually laid at the teaching zoo and was hatched and hand-raised by a former student of the animal care and training program. After several years of living with that student, Beaker eventually came back here to be a companion to his mother after his father passed away, and now enjoys his flock of 4 trainers. Beaker is clearly doing great here, and his species is actually doing pretty well in the wilds too, but unfortunately there are a lot of other species of hornbill that are not so lucky. In a lot of the world, hornbills are poached for their casques on their head, their meat, or for the illegal pet trade, and this has caused them to become increasingly rare, like the critically endangered helmeted hornbill. While the future is in question for these wonderful birds, there are a lot of amazing organizations such as the AZA Safe Asian Hornbill Program that are working to fight for the future of these animals. There are also amazing animal ambassadors, like Beaker here, that stand to represent their wonderful species and teach thousands of people more about these irreplaceable creatures and the struggles that they're facing out in the wild. I feel so lucky to be part of Beaker's flock here at the teaching zoo, and it's such a privilege to be able to share him with the public and to teach people more about these fascinating and charismatic birds.
Thank you so much for watching my video and letting me represent the animal care and training program here at Moorpark College and letting me introduce you to my friend Beaker. You can see him and all of our other fun little critters at the teaching zoo at Moorpark College. We're open Saturdays and Sundays.